Every night at 2:03 a.m., the light in that apartment flicked on. Always the same window. Always the same time. Like clockwork. I called it the night shift window. I never saw who lived there. But I watched that window every single night for over a year. It started when I took the overnight job at the hospital. Reception. 3rd floor. Nothing glamorous. Just quiet hallways, the occasional midnight trauma. And long stretches of silence broken by elevator dings. I hated it at first. The hours, the fluorescent buzz, the way time moved slower at night. But it paid rent. And it gave me space to think without anyone watching. There was a break room near the far end of the floor. And inside, a window that looked over the city. Mostly office buildings, rooftops, a gas station that never closed. And one apartment complex with a single window that always lit up at 2:03 a.m. Not before. Not after. Exactly 2:03. At first, I thought it was a fluke. Maybe a motion sensor, or a light on a timer. But then I noticed movement. Soft shadows. Someone pacing. Sometimes dancing. Once, I swear, I saw arms raised like they were conducting an invisible orchestra. I started making up stories about them. In my head they were a lonely music teacher who couldn't sleep without Bach. A woman with insomnia who baked bread at night and danced in flour-dusted socks. A writer racing deadlines. A widow who turned the light on every night at the same time her husband used to come home. The truth didn't matter. What mattered was that it became my anchor. No matter how hard the night shift was. No matter how tired or numb I felt. At 2:03 that light came on. And I remembered I wasn't the only one awake. There were nights the hospital felt haunted. Not by ghosts. By grief. Grief has a sound, you know. It hums in waiting rooms. It echoes in stairwells. It sighs into vending machines when someone realizes the person they love won't be coming home. On those nights, I'd walk to that break room window. Coffee in hand. Lean my forehead against the glass. And wait. At 2:03, the light always came. Then, one night, it didn't. I stared at the window for almost an hour. Nothing. It was dark. Still. A strange panic rose in my chest. Like I'd lost someone I never really knew. For the next 3 nights, it stayed dark. I tried not to care. Told myself maybe they were away. Or asleep. Or finally cured of whatever kept them awake. But it ached. More than I expected. Then on the 4th night, the light returned. But this time, there was someone at the window. Not pacing. Not dancing. Just standing. Looking out. And even from 12 stories away. I swear they saw me. Not as a face. Not as a name. But as a presence. Another soul awake in the dead of night. Needing something steady. I raised my hand. Waved. Felt ridiculous. Then they raised theirs. A small wave. Back. I smiled. A real one. Not the polite, patient kind I wore at the hospital. A real one. After that it became our ritual. 2:03 a.m. Light on. Wave. Go on. Sometimes, we held the wave a second longer. Sometimes, I brought snacks and toasted them through the glass. Sometimes, I cried quietly, and they stayed longer, like they knew. We never met. Never spoke. Never knew each other's names. But that window, that 20 feet of night air between us, was enough. One night, my shift ended early. First time in months. I stood outside the hospital, looked across the street, and for the first time saw the building from the ground. I counted the windows. 1, 2, 3 floors up, for windows from the left. There. The night shift window. On a whim, I walked toward it. My heart racing. Hands cold. No real plan. I didn't knock. Didn't buzz. Just stood on the opposite sidewalk at 2:03 a.m. and looked up. The light came on. They were there. And this time, they opened the window. They leaned out just slightly. Enough for a breeze to carry their voice across the quiet street. They said, "I always wondered if you were real." I laughed and replied, "Same." We didn't exchange numbers or names. Just a smile, a pause, a wave. And then I turned, walked back into the fluorescent buzz of the hospital, feeling more human than I had in a long time. My name is Renee. And this is the story of the light that kept me going, and the stranger who reminded me I was never truly alone.